Hey, Shui. Hey, David.
Good day.
Hi, folks.
Hi, Yi.
Hi, Payman. Hi, everyone.
Hi, David. Nice to meet you here. Glad to have you in our meeting.
Thanks for inviting me.
Yeah, let's wait for maybe just 1 or 2 more minutes for others to join us. Hey, Terry. Hey, Billy. Hello, Xiaoxuan.
Hi, Pima. Hey, folks.
Hello, Freeman. Hello, everyone.
Yeah, great. We have most of the attendees joined. Andrew Block mentioned that he's in Seattle to attend the Cloud Native Security Con this week. So Andrew will not be able to join us today. As we have new friend joined, David. David, my name is Feynman. I'm a maintainer for ORAS project and also a product manager at Microsoft. We also have maintainers from Red Hat, AWS, and other organizations. Would you mind introduce yourself a bit in this meeting as you are the first time attendee?
You're gonna put me on the spot, okay. My name is David Wheeler. I'm a principal architect at Tembo. I created the Postgres extension network back in 2010 and 11, and it's been kind of going along its first source code distribution. The uptake has been okay, but not great. But at the beginning of the year, I joined Tembo to work full time on trying to improve the overall Postgres extension ecosystem situation. And that includes figuring out how to do effective binary distribution. So I was doing some experiments on it with a couple weeks ago, and Sage and the Slack was super helpful for figuring that out with ORAS and Zot. And I wrote up what I found, and I'm planning to implement it this year. And now I'm getting invited to meetings.
Yeah. Glad to have you, David. And thank you again for attending the meeting in your non-working hours. I know David is based in New York, and I believe it's 8 p.m. in your time zone, right?
Yeah, no worries.
It's a bit late. And also, David wrote up a nice blog post for his POC with ORAS and Zot registry. I just posted the link for David's blog post in our Zoom chat. Nice article.
Thank you.
And I also shared our ORAS community meeting agenda in the Zoom meeting chat. I'm going to share my screen to go through today's agenda topics. If you have any topics or questions you want to add to the meeting agenda, feel free to append it in the HackMD doc. Let me share my screen, okay? Can you see it? And I'm currently sharing my screen and hang out on the HackMD doc. Is that available?
Yeah, I can see.
Okay, thank you. There are 3 topics that I collected from the community. The last one, I wanna first share the status. Taylor will not be able to make this meeting due to the time zone reasons, but we had a status update for this project. Maybe I can click on the link. Oh, it's not this one. As you may remember, we had a request regarding the discussion of accepting a new sub-project for the OCI ROS client, which is proposed from the cross-led community. And through several rounds of discussion and votes in the ORAS community, we aligned that ORAS maintainers are good to accept this project into the ORAS ecosystem and make it become a sub-project on the ORAS organization. So this morning, Taylor worked with other ORAS maintainers to transfer the ROS OCI client from cross-led organization to ORAS organization. So now here's the latest repo for the ROS client of OCI. And I believe it has 64 new contributors to the whole ORAS organization, and glad that we have a new client library for Rust. And also, Sajay raised a pull request to add the Rust client on the website. So there's a pull request for the Rust client in the library list. So ORAS maintainers, if you could help to review this PR and approve it, that would be appreciated. So there's a new page for the Rust client, and it directs the links to the OCI distribution, the OCI Rust distribution crate, and also the source code repo. We just finished the transferring action this morning. So just a heads up for all of you. Maybe you are not aware of the status of this new project. And I believe it flourished the ORAS library ecosystem. And we may have more contributors joined in the community.
Is the repo public yet, or is it still private?
I believe it's public because Taylor just transferred the repo from its original place to ORAS organization. The original repo is a public repo. We didn't push the code to a separate repo that you created yesterday.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, because if we choose to push the code instead of transferring, the history and GitHub metrics will be lost. So transferring would be the best choice to accepting a new existing project.
Freeman, can you share the link that we should review? I mean, for the PR?
Yeah. It's a tiny change on the website. Let me post that link in our chat so maintainers can take a look and maybe approve that.
Yes, thanks.
I saw David's comment. What do you mean by using a create.io link in the README?
I assume it's a library that are distributing via crates.io. So I was trying to find it, but I know they renamed it, so it might not be easy.
You mean in the website, in the profile link, the project profile link?
Yeah, it could be, or even just the README. And then it's easier for me to go read the documentation, the API docs.
Yeah, that's a good reminder. I think maybe we can add that link to the top right corner on the project profile page. Just started. Okay, back to our agenda topics. So this is just the third one. I just prioritize it because it's a just fresh project that we transferred this morning. And back to the first topic, I want to have a brainstorming session for the upcoming feature that we planned in ORAS V1.3 milestone. As you can see, we have a milestone discussion in the ORAS CLI discussion section. And as you can see, the OCI image index management support has been planned in this milestone. And we identified 3 issues related to the OCI image index management. One of the typical scenarios is the multi-arc, multi-platform image management. And we have a issue that tracks this idea raised from Sajay. I want to have a broader brainstorming from the community and see, apart from the multi-arc, multi-platform image management, is there any other valuable scenarios and pain points that we have from the user perspective? I know maybe David, you have some ideas and thoughts on this topic. So that's the reason that I invite you to this discussion. And maybe you can also share a bit about what's your pain points and your expectations regarding the multi-arc image management. This is one of the important features that we planned in upcoming release.
Sure. I mean, so just caveat that I've just worked on a POC to demonstrate to myself that this is something that's feasible for us to do, and I'm excited at the potential for it. So there's a lot I do not know or yet understand. I originally was reading about the stuff in issue 237, in which the, I think it was 237. Yeah, in which Homebrew talked about how they go about distributing artifacts via the GitHub registry. Excuse me. And that kind of was my entry into it. So it seems like there's a lot of promise there in actually having image indexes, but the methodology for right now, building an image index with the ORAS CLI, which is all I use for my POC, is kind of funky. But what I can imagine is in the future, if somebody releases a Postgres extension, gradually it would be built for different versions of Postgres and different architectures. So in addition to creating an initial index, it could be that there will be updates to the index. So I'm hoping it's relatively easy to create an image index, but also to be able to update it and add new images to it, or potentially even remove images from the index, which will introduce all sorts of asynchronous locking issues if we're not careful. That's really kind of the only thing I can think of other than the stuff I brought up on Slack about filtering, which I'm totally fine to do client side. I think it makes perfect sense. So narrow on your screen.
Are you referring to this section in your blog post?
Yeah, so the push
issue?
trunk script was something that was based on a script that Sajay, forgive me if I'm mispronouncing their name, whipped up. And it was like creating the images and pushing them with the AOCI layout and creating the image index and having to gin together all the JSON for that. And I think the tooling could maybe be a little better there, which is what I assume that 1053 is about.
So what I am understanding is that you expect that ORAS CLI can provide the capabilities like create an image index for a multi-arc image and update that on the client side, and also pull the multi-arc image with ORAS client.
Yeah, I mean, first of all, it'd be nice to be able to say, push these 3 images, and then that creates the image index automatically, which right now I have to do through, a bunch of JQ jujitsu. But then long term, I can imagine updates and locking and contention could be a challenge. But that's a little further out in my mind. Is that helpful?
Yeah, that's helpful. I believe that's the fundamental usage of the image index management is also one of the typical scenarios in our minds, at least in my minds. So multi-arc image management with push, pull, and update would be your basic expectation for ORAS client. Is that correct?
Based on my very limited experience so far, yes.
Okay. Terry, I know you have been working with some Kubernetes manifest file and maybe Helm chart in the OCI registry. Do you have any thoughts on the image index management and also its further potential scenarios?
No, not really. I haven't really looked at this or Sajay's proposal yet.
I'm taking a look at Sajay's proposal, and maybe you guys can also go through the proposal, so we will have more context about this idea. I can imagine another scenario regarding attaching artifacts to a multi-arc image. So I believe we have another issue to track this issue. So imagine that the user has created a multi-arc image with ORAS CLI, and there might be three different platforms of images in a image index. If the user want to attach the SBOM files for every platform image, is it valid that ORAS can provide the capability to allow users to attach the SBOM and maybe other referrals to different images with its specific platform?
I think that's already supported. You can use ORAS attach with the platform flag. So you can start from a multi-arc image and attach directly to a specific platform. That is introduced in a v1.2.0 release.
Okay, so that's good catch. And right now, users can attach the referrals to a specific platform image. I'm just aware that this has been completed in the ORAS 1.2. So I think that's enough for my case. I just saw Sajay joined. We just talk about the scenarios of image index management and just talk about the fundamental usage of the multi-arc and also multi-platform image management with ORAS client. So Sajay, have you seen any further scenarios of image index support?
I think we discussed multi-arc binary uploads, right? That was the other one. So how do you create, like given a set of binaries, can we actually specify each of these stars or each of these binaries for different architectures? And you want to probably upload them as one shot as a set of images, artifacts, and put the index as well. That's another workflow.
Hey, Sajay.
Yeah.
So sorry, my connection seems unstable in just a few seconds. Would you mind rephrase your point? I just reconnect.
Yeah, sure. One of the things we've been looking at was there's been a lot of asks for how to upload multi-arc binaries, right? Or TARs for different architectures. So right now we have to craft a set of images or a set of artifacts, push them, and then handcraft this other manifest, which is all kind of scriptable, but it's really hard because there's no manifest create command and there's no way to kind of edit a manifest and all that. So that was another scenario that I think we were working on Slack and just putting it together. So it would be awesome if we can streamline that workflow and not have people do this gymnastics with different kind of scripts and tools, right?
Is that still the fundamental capability of pushing, of creating a multi-arc image index?
Yeah, it all boils down to the fact that we cannot craft this index correctly. For example, we have to push each one, make sure we get the descriptors from that, make sure that the right platforms are set. Those are definitely doable, but quite error prone unless we give proper guidance. I think people who are day in and out kind of looking at the OCI spec, it's pretty straightforward. But let's say somebody wants to build two binaries. Like let's take the ORAS binary. We build it for two architectures, right? And then we say, hey, let's push one for Mac and one for Linux. That simple workflow is really hard today.
I see. It's about the multi-platform
Binaries, yes,
artifact pushing experience.
correct.
Right now, we can only push the images with each platform one by one, but
Right.
I think the desired experience is to push with various platform for a multi-arc artifact.
Right, and things like Go Releaser and Go Build and all can easily produce all the multi-arc binaries, and they are probably placed on the same location. So as long as you can point ORAS to say, hey, this is XYZ platform, this is what do you say, ABC platform, can you just do this whole thing for me in some decent convention? I did not have this when I wrote the spec. This was a very old one.
What does the append scenario that you referred here mean? Is that means if the user has the X and Y platform images, and the user may want to append.
There is one more scenario, which is not just appending a platform. It could be appending like Docker wants to append a signature, or if we want to append, like, okay, let me step back. There's this notion of the referers being frozen, which is the tag schema, right? Like if you use a tag schema, there's a set of references that are all kind of frozen to that extent. But if you want to add an element to the referers, today ORAS does all the stuff under the covers. You can actually append the manifest, then it puts a new manifest and things like that. There's no CLI command that says attach this extra referer to the tag schema, modify the index and attach it with these annotations, or modify the index and attach it with these. And that operation is hidden under the covers. And so if you were to modify an index, can we add a new entity into that? Maybe it's an SBOM, maybe it's a signature, maybe it's another platform artifact. So you have Mac and Linux and you want to add, I don't know, another architecture to it. How do you do that? That would modify the original manifest, put a new manifest in, but update the tag in some workflow. Does it make sense?
Can you give me a more straightforward example for the appending scenario?
So let's say I've built and I've added Linux, right? I have Linux and Mac in the manifest. I want to add the Windows binary to it. So I have ORAS Linux, ORAS Mac, but now I decided that I want to enable ORAS Windows. How do I go about doing that?
I think that's still the scenario of appending a new arc for the existing image index, right?
Right. I mean, that is the example that I can bring. But if you wanted to attach maybe a signature, like the way Docker is planning to do, in line with the image itself, then it doesn't have a platform. So there are artifacts that are unknown platforms also.
How does this scenario relate to the referrals that you mentioned?
Oh, referrals is also an image index. So if you look at the referrers, it's just an image index. So if you decide to freeze the referrers, then that manifest list you need to be able to modify that manifest list also.
Okay, I saw David has a new comment.
I'm just thinking ahead. I think so Sanjay has got the basics down. I'm a database guy, so I'm thinking about contention.
Yeah, all these APIs probably need to go through some E-tag optimistic locking, otherwise it won't work. But definitely we'll have to handle the concurrency for appends, and that's why append is kind of P2 in my head. It's not like a priority 1 scenario.
Okay.
But I would say being able to craft it at least is important.
Yeah, that should be the first step.
Yeah, the
Crafting
problem
a
is
multi-platform.
yeah, the issue is that if we forget append, then it's going to be hard to add as a use case. Just think through the problem with like there are requirements to append or remove an architecture. So if you think of it as a basic CRUD set, then it'll be easier rather than just a construct and forget, which might be where we land. We agree that we can only construct manifests. We cannot modify them, but that's okay. That's where we agree. But at least we think about it and write down that, yeah, we're not going to be supporting append or remove, and we only do construction. That's also fine.
Yeah. And currently, I believe ORAS provides the ORAS manifest command, and also there are subcommands like ORAS manifest fetch and delete. Those two commands are able to allow users view and delete the existing manifest.
Correct, but it can't create anything though.
Yeah. The gap here is that users cannot craft a image index from scratch. Okay, I think we align that the basic functionalities of imaging index management should be crafting an image manifest, an image index, and the typical scenario is still the multi-arc, multi-platform image and artifact push.
Sounds good. I'm sorry I joined late. Are we prioritizing this, or are we just kind of like discussing the issues?
So for milestone V1.3, the priority is still the verbose lock. Here's the milestone that we just discussed.
Cool. Okay. Sorry for
Yeah.
that.
Yeah, the P0 is still the verbose lock improvement and the troubleshooting experience enhancement. The next will be multi-arc image index management, and we have several issues listed for this scenario. The purpose of this meeting is just to brainstorming some high-level scenarios for image index management. We just talk about the multi-arc image index, and we would like to see if there are any further requirements and the scenarios regarding the image index management. But till now, I think the multi-arc image or artifact management is still the typical scenario that we will need to explore and support at the first step. Okay, I received a lot of inputs for this feature request. So is there any other questions or findings for image index management?
Do we have some existing script to craft the index? If someone have it, can you provide that so we can try to use the POC version of the ORAS to try to replace that script?
I just shared in the chat. I'll drop it in the HackMD also. I'll add it to the issue.
Yeah, thank you.
I'm opening the script that Sajid shared in our chat. Is this script? This script looks like a manual composing steps for composing a multi-platform image with ORAS.
Yeah, that's why it's so complicated. We should not be able, a person should not be required to know that much.
I see. Now let's do the pain points from user's perspective. This script would be a good justification that users will need to take a lot of steps to compose a multi-platform artifact. Okay, is there any further ideas for image index management? If not, I think we can close this discussion for brainstorming of image index management. And I think the next step would be we can create a specification and define the valid scenarios and the basic functionalities that we want to support for image index management. And also we can prepare for a POC for this feature. Okay, so if no further comments, we can continue to the next topic. Maybe you are not aware of the tool, LFX Insight tool provided by CNCF and the Linux Foundation. So right now we have the way to get the metrics of the ORAS community activity and also the velocity of the project and also the contributions from different organizations. I can quickly share that tool. So here's the LFX Insight tool, and it has a very deep depth views for each CNCF project. If I search for ORAS, we can get a detailed matrix of the ORAS project status and health from this dashboard. And I can also switch to different timeframes for the ORAS community. And it allows me to specify any sub-project for the community, for the whole ORAS community. So for example, we can see how the contributors' issues per request, GitHub stars and folks changed in the past year. And also it provides a best practice score on the right corner. So ideally, we can inspect the community status via this tool. And also it provides different reports for the contributors and contributing organizations and activities. So I think maybe we can leverage this tool to create a report for ORAS community. At this moment, we have one more active project join the ORAS organization. So I think it's a good time to review the ORAS community status and create a report for current velocity, productivity, and also the community health. It might be a good justification for ORAS if we want to promote the ORAS from sandbox to CNCF incubating this year. So my proposal is to leverage this official CNCF official tool to collect metrics and create a report for ORAS community. Let me share the link so you can get more detailed metrics on your own. It allows everyone to view the metrics without logging. It's a public dashboard. And also, we can see the best practice score and why ORAS get this score 58 by clicking the button. And it also provides some best practice and recommendations for different sections like the documentation, standard, security, and legal compliance related sections. I think I may need to log in to the dashboard so I can see the detailed reasons for each section. But basically, I think this tool provides a very valuable insights to the community health. It involves all of those sub-projects under ORAS organization. If there are no more comments, I think I can help to create a report leveraging this tool and collect some fundamental metrics based on the ORAS GitHub. Yeah, I think CNCF may also use this tool and metrics for every CNCF project as a justification when any project want to promote its maturity from the initial level to the next level. I think our goal is to promote ORAS from sandbox to incubating this year. So that is the reason that I propose to create a report for ORAS community. And this tool is an official tool recommended by CNCF and Linux Foundation. So we can leverage this tool to collect some metrics and also reflect the current status of the community. Okay, if no further comments, I will continue to go and create a report using this tool. There might be some corner metrics that didn't show in this dashboard, but I will need to look into the dashboard and analyze those metrics based on this dashboard. those are the 3 topics that I collected from the community. So do you have any pull requests and issues that you want to prioritize in this meeting? Harry, I know you have been diligently working on some website enhancement issues and pull requests. Is there any blockers for the ORAS website?
I mean, there's some unresolved conversation with Billy about the standard error for Go scripting, but I'm not sure where that stands right now. That's the only thing really outstanding. And yeah.
On which pull request that you are referring?
Yeah, it's 1427. Yeah, I haven't, I did update the PR today, but I'm not sure where it stands now, so.
Yeah, I can give a quick recap of this, like where the issue is. So basically, we're standardizing the output. So Terry helped like refactoring, have helped refactor the std out output, but we like met some issue while trying to refactor the std error one. So so for example, if a user like trying to output to std out and like got some error while printing, this will be output to the like system std error file script. Kind of that. So in this PR, like Terry added a modification which will output to the commands std error file descriptor. So I have concerns on that change because user might assign a malformed std error, and if we put like the error message into that file descriptor, user will never be able to see the error if they like have assigned a malformed descriptor to that. So the key point is if a user is if user writes a binary based on ORAS Go scripting, and they have like met an error while trying to do some system level operation, for example, output, will that error be considered as ORAS error output and send it to commands error, or this error should be considered as the binary error output? So it should be sent to the system like a standard system error output. I think I mistyped in the second point. It should be like os.std error.
Yeah, I guess what I was going for here is just when you're Go scripting that, you kind of have the same level of control that you do when you're using the binary of ORAS. So you could, the user could basically redirect standard error and standard out wherever they wanted to. So that's what I was going for on this PR. And this is kind of wrapping up this whole printer refactor, that I all started just for the Go scripting mostly, but also it's kind of cleaned up a bunch of things that were I found difficult to work with before. I think just a lot of history has gone on, and no one's kind of looked at this and reworked it a little bit. Thought from a higher level.
So basically, I'm okay with if it goes with option one, which is proposing this PR. But is there a way we can declare that Go scripting is experimental? So basically, Go scripting is equivalent to using Aura CLI as a Golang SDK, right? So that should be experimental. I think we have also discussed this about like adding like progress bar support, like moving those kind of like visualization to the standard out of the internal package. So since using CLI as Golang SDK is experimental, is there any way we can declare that? So in the future, if we have a like breaking change, it is still allowed.
I mean, certainly we could do that in the documentation area. How to do that from the code level, I'm not sure, but it would be easy to do there. And I don't know if anyone realized Go scripting exists unless they looked at the documentation. So that might cover the case here.
Yeah, that sounds reasonable.
Are you suggesting add a note that Aura scripting experience is still in experimental phase?
No, I think the
Because-
point is, I think the point is that this is based on the Aura CLI functions and the package itself. And that package is not released like what we do with Auras V2, Auras Go V2. So if this changes, we might not have the same rigor as the breaking change of an SDK. So if there's a public method or if there's a method inside the package, then we don't actually test that explicitly as a breaking change in the CLI package. Is that right, Billy? I mean,
Yes, it's right.
Yeah.
So in that case, seems like we should add it to the Golang package document, not only the Auras document.
I think it's okay to call out how the scripting library is based on the CLI packages, which may change and does not follow. I think it's okay to just call out that this will change per release, and there's no guarantee that this will be the same per release. I mean, if they truly wanted a non-breaking change, then they should take dependency on the SDK. I think that's the point. As long as the docs call it out, we might be okay, is what I'm thinking. Terry, does that sound reasonable?
Yeah, totally. I think should cover everything.
Yeah, we can do it as a follow-up. I don't think it's worth blocking the PR anyway. So let's just track another issue on the doc site and maybe unblock ourselves if that helps.
Okay, we can follow it up in another issue.
Okay, if there's a not blocker, I think we can go with a new issue to track the experimental status note. Terry, is there any further pull requests and issues that you want to discuss in this meeting?
No, that's it for me.
Okay. This morning, I raised a PR to add the Aura's formatted output user menu. Yeah, it's just Sajay commented with a markdown syntax error, and we need to check later. So most of the content are replicated from the Aura's formatted output spec because it has several examples there. And we also have another issue to add some basic examples for the -- format flags in several ORAS commands. So ideally, I think with these two documentation enhancement, the ORAS format output will have more guidance in the ORAS CLI, help reference, and also on the website. Currently, I have seen some users are not quite familiar with getting started of using ORAS formatted output options. So the idea is to add the basic examples to the ORAS CLI help info and also the website. So users will understand how to get started with this powerful feature. Anything else?
Should we add this like examples in to CLI or to the portal repository?
Sorry, Billy, I didn't get your point.
So you have created an issue in the issue for the formatting documents in the CLI repository.
Correct.
But should we like put the issue in the portal repository or the CLI repository? Depending on
They are
where.
separate. Yeah,
Depending on. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, there are separate purposes. The issue that I created in the CLI repo is to request adding examples for the format flag. This will be helpful if users want to get some basic information and examples from the CLI help reference doc. Another pull request that I add to the ORAS website repo, that is to add more examples and detailed explanations for the format output and also the template flag.
Okay, let's continue our discussion in the CLI in the issue in a CLI repository. But I think that ultimately the document should better be put in the portal than the CLI, because this we need a lot of examples and explanations on concepts which won't like fit into the CLI output. So user won't read that much.
You mean adding some basic examples to the CLI help information is not that helpful? Or it's not very...
Yes, it's not helpful. Or it's not practical, because we need a lot of we need to write a lot to tell user how to use that. And user won't like less likely to read a lot of documents from terminal than on the web page.
So if I may, I think add examples might be a little too generic. Maybe if you pick a command and then say one canonical example, like we have a set of examples already in manifest fetch, right? So for example, if you want to say, get me the digest or the size or the artifact type from the manifest, that might be a canonical example rather than a bunch of examples that we want to do. Does it make sense? Like just one most common use case might be better. Otherwise, we'll have pages of examples just to avoid.
Yeah.
So maybe we can reword the issue to add one example if we want to, and discuss it from there.
Yes, adding a pickup like command is a good idea, but the pain point is the format is for automating like automating script for automating for automation.
Scriptable, right?
So it usually involves like 2 or 3 commands. So
No, I don't think the idea is to call out the entire script usage, but is there an example of what an acceptable value of the format flag is, like a canonical example, right? Like you have, for example, you're seeing pull dash dash concurrency 6 that shows you the usage of concurrency. And then you have OCL layout that shows you OCL layout. Should we add one more that says ORAS pull dash dash format? And what is this, an example Go template that you can pass in? I don't know. I'm just throwing out an idea here. But you're right. We can probably discuss in the issue and scope it down to these are the only 2 scenarios where we'll add examples for it. Or maybe there's just too many examples and just keep it simple and go here, go to ORAS land to find out more about the formatted output might be another way to do it.
Yeah, I think it would be much friendly that we can add a very basic example with the usage with the format, and also guide users to the ORAS.land to get more details for different use cases. Some users may not be aware of this feature if they look at the CLI help info. We don't want to maintain a heavy, we don't want to keep a very heavy maintenance for the formatted output docs on the CLI help info. So that's the reason that I created a dedicated pull request to add more detailed information for formatted output user menu. In the CLI command, I think it is enough to add a very basic example to show how the -- format and -- template can be used. We are running out of time, so if we have different thoughts on this request, we can continue the discussion in this issue. Oh, I see Shui's hands. Sorry, I missed that.
Yes, I can just reply in the issue because we're over time.
Okay. Thank you, everyone. And thanks, David, again.
thank you. Have a good rest of the day.
Bye.
Thank
Bye,
you.
everyone.